I think the question of motivation is such an interesting one because this is a constant challenge for like all entrepreneurs is like how do I stay motivated in the day to day? Because there's like aspects of really boring things that need to get done and then really exciting things that might be good ideas and right times to do, and other times it's like really exciting things that you should not do. And so the mantra for me that I keep coming back to is that motivation comes after action. Like action precedes motivation. I've just felt this to be true for myself because I think the lasting motivational factor there is it's sort of like a reflection on a feedback loop. I did a thing, I got a positive result, so therefore I'm motivated, like I'm driven to do that action again. I think generally there's a move to action that can come from like a point of discontentment. So it's sort of like these bigger concepts. What gets rewarded gets repeated, and what gets penalized gets reduced, or what gets reprimanded gets reduced. So what gets rewarded gets repeated, and what gets reprimanded gets reduced. And we feel that in our own life. But either way, it's what has a consequence is naturally going to be wanting to occur more or wanting to occur less. And so for me in my life, an example of this is I started, I'll pick one that's been a hard area of motivation. It's not necessarily the business, but I related to business a lot as like in weight loss for me, or just like my weight journey is I, get my steps in, I track my calories, and I weigh myself every day. And so let's say I do a day and I weigh myself and the scale goes down, or, I do it consistently for a week. I weigh myself and the scale goes down. That feedback loop of like, oh man, that was a positive result of the actions that I took. And so now I actually feel more motivation on the backside of my actions. Some of it's like the other thing for me personally in there is like, if I can show up and work out in like my motivation post working out is so much higher than my motivation pre working out. So it's like, if I can get myself to work out, the chances that I will stay on track with my calories or, find like carve out time to get my steps in is so much higher. And so I just have to muscle my way into doing the action and the motivation proceeds. And so that's been my experience. And so so the other side of it is like when I have a lack of input that creates consequences, like, right. So what gets reprimanded, there's a negative consequence of it. Then I'm motivated to reduce that. So it's interesting when your motivation is to reduce not doing the thing. So an example of this is I went through a long period of time where I was not publishing content. Like I was not doing it. And so the feedback loop was the positive flow of leads reduced. So the action was don't publish content. The feedback loop was have less leads, see business growth slow down. And I was motivated to not keep doing that lack of action. So I don't know if that makes sense, but so for me, I just keep telling myself motivation comes after action. And so then I want to be discerning on what actions should I take. And sometimes the first time I just have to muscle my way through it. And so I guess it could also be saying that like, if I have to choose between motivation and accountability, I'm going to choose accountability. Accountability to do the stuff is going to be so much more impactful on the business for me personally than motivation. So I don't need to have motivation for it, but if I can have accountability for it, the likelihood that I take action, so much greater. And then after I take action, then the motivation grows. So I don't know if it's helpful as a reframe there. I know it's a constant challenge, something that like I face all the time, but that's what I think is if I can put a system of accountability in place, I'm more likely to take the action. After I take the action, I've seen it to be true that then the motivation continues. What you just saw was a clip from one of our coaching calls. I do one-on-one calls with people. I also do small group stuff. We do live events. If that's what you're looking for, kind of like a community or specific guidance and assistance, I'm going to put a link down below. Would love to talk with you, see if it's a good fit. Hop on and see how we can help you in that way. Otherwise, I've got actually another clip here that I think you're going to enjoy.